Capital. We are at the business, funding, and whiskey. Like always, we talk about business. We talk
Let's
about
go.
how you can get funding for your business. But at the same time, we drink some great whiskey tonight. But tonight, man, we have a celebrity in the house. We have Mr. Josh Fox. Josh Fox is the founder and CEO of Bottom Line Concepts, which is a company that help businesses to not only get find money and put money back in the packets. But at the same time, they're doing something great right now that helping businesses that actually were affected by COVID to gain money back by actually doing what we call the ERC, or the Employee Retention on Program. Now, Josh, how you doing today, man? I know that you're in transit, so I appreciate that it was such a short notice in which you got into our podcast. I appreciate that you took the time to be here with us. How you doing tonight, man?
I am awesome, guys. It's so good to be here. Thanks for having me. And I'm excited to share some news with your audience.
Awesome.
Amazing, amazing. Hey, Brock, what's up? What's going on, man? What are you drinking tonight?
What's happening, Carlos? A little Crown Royal, a little dabble of water. So
Yeah.
it's going down pretty smooth. So, Josh, man, I just want to say, hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and educate our following here. If you haven't seen us before, we try to take a less conventional approach to business funding, really everything business. Our mission here is to help as many businesses as possible, whether they're small businesses or large businesses. And I know that you are strapped for time, right? So I kind of want to hop right into this. Fair enough, Carlos?
Yeah, let's go, man. Let's do this.
All right. Cool. So Josh, if you want to take it away, or we want to start off with some questions, that's totally up to you.
Let's start with some questions, Josh. How you doing? Josh, you there? Oh, don't tell me we lost him. All right, guys. I think we lost Josh for some reason. But no matter what, I see that he has almost no bars on. But no matter what, guys, let me give you a little more details on Josh. Josh is actually from New York. So this is somebody that actually I found a commonality with. Their the business started back in 2009, back in New York, and they moved the operations to California and then to Miami. Now, Bottom Line Concepts is a consulting firm that teams up with organizations to assess the top line items that are vastly attempting the business profits. And I think we lost them. Now, in the process, the business actually, they help business uncover meaningful refunds from the government. And what we're talking about too today is it's called the ERC, the Employee Retention Program. I think we have him back on the line. Hey, Josh. Hey, Josh, we have you back. Hey, I was talking to everybody. I was telling a little more about you and what your company does. But please tell us a little more who you are and why you have such a calling to help a lot of businesses today.
So, bottom line, our company has been in the space for 15 years. And we've been helping small companies, large companies over the last 15 years recover money from either the federal government or the state governments. And it's a lot of fun in this time of where a lot of companies are you hearing this?
Yeah, it's going in and out. For some reason, we're losing it today.
Difficulties, that means we get to drink whiskey.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, every time, so if you're hearing us, every time that there's technical difficulties, we get to drink.
So, to be hearing in the background.
We're having trouble understanding you, Josh. You're going in and out. Sounds like you're Stephen Hawking's over there.
All right. So as we get Josh back, you know what? So a little more about their company. They've been in business for about 15 years. You know what they do is they charge no fee for analysis, and they help businesses to actually, help the bottom line by getting refunds from the government. And in one of those refunds that they are able to get is called the ERC, which is Employee Retention Credit, which is something that, I mean, a lot of businesses qualify. If you went through COVID and you were affected because of the mandate, I mean, this is something that touches you personally.
Yeah,
If you have both,
Carlos, I did some research on that, man, and less than
yeah,
84%, I'm sorry, 84% of all businesses out there that are existing have not applied for this, right? So for multiple different reasons, but there's so much money there. I want to say the ERC program is granting it's a U.S. government program, and it's upwards of $400 billion, right? That's Billy with a B. And so
yes,
there's 84% of businesses out there that don't know about it, that haven't even tried to qualify for it. And it's really, really cool program out there, specifically designed to help businesses that may have seen an interruption in their business or a decline in their business back in 2020 during the pandemic. So when President Trump came up with the PPP loans, right, to help those same businesses, those were loans. Now, what ended up happening is that they came up with an employee retention credit as well. So Trump, what he did was he did not allow you to get both of these programs. So when Biden came into office, he allowed that for companies to get both of those. So even if a company out there got approved for a PPP loan, they can still get an employee retention credit, which is awesome stuff. Again, this is a grant from the government. This is a government-based not service, but I'm can't think of the right word, but it's from the government. So, all businesses out there that were in operation in 2020 were probably in some way affected, unless they were e-commerce. So if you're out there and you're like, oh man, my sales went down, or we had to operate, from the parking lot instead of the office. There's all sorts of different stipulations out there where you can get this tax credit per employee. Okay, so really awesome stuff. Somebody's asking here, is there a minimum? Oh, it went away. Minimum amount of employees? No, there's not. Okay, so as far as I know, and Jeff is a guru when it comes to this. I'm kind of filling in the blanks while he's having technical.
Yeah. So let's see, Josh,
Hey,
because
guys, can you guys hear
go
me?
ahead, man.
Oh
yeah, man. Go ahead, brother. We got a couple questions, but please feel free to actually come in and I don't know if you heard. We're trying to fill in some of the things, but please let's talk about bottom lines. I know the last thing we heard is you guys.
Are we supposed to be hearing music? Because I just hear music playing.
Yeah, there's a little bit of music in the background. It should be really low though.
It's
gotcha.
a theme.
You guys
it's
able
a
to
theme
lower that
of
a
like,
drum?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Cool.
Go ahead, man.
Sorry about that. It was just in transit. But so our company, Bottom Line, I started this thing back in 2009. And the name was just so appropriate, right? Bottom line. Our job was to go into the biggest companies in the world and help them recover money from the government. Now, there's tons of programs that have been around for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
You're thinking about companies out there. I mean, Bank, Uber, the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, the Miami Dolphins. Like, we've done this for the most prestigious companies on earth. And the COVID thing hits, right? And President Trump says, hey, we got to put some programs in place to start helping small businesses get through this thing. So he brings the CARES Act to the country. And one of the programs that was part of the CARES Act was this program that you guys have been talking about tonight, which is the employee retention credit. They're handing out hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars right now to businesses that were adversely affected by the pandemic. Our company's been running this thing at about $500 million a month. We're delivering about $500 million every single month to businesses that are in need of this money. Doctors' offices, bars, restaurants, private schools, like all of these industries that were really hurt during the pandemic.
Amazing. So if you're talking about $500 million, you guys are returning to a lot of businesses.
Do you guys have a couple questions about it?
Yeah, no, actually, a couple people were talking about if there's a minimum of employees that you need to have in order to qualify for this. So we have a lot of questions right now, but we go over it. But that was one of the first questions. So go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, so one of the biggest misconceptions of the program, everybody,
Mhm.
is that if you're the owner of the business or you're a family member to the owner of the business, you're not going to qualify those people. So if you have a husband, a wife, two children, a grandmother, and these people work for the business, none of those people are qualified. The only people that are qualified are W 2 non owners, non family members to the owners. And 1099 does not count. That's another one people ask all the time. If you have 1099 workers, you cannot get money back for those 1099s.
Mm,
Wow.
mm.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
Josh, is this something that a business needs to pay back?
Definitely not. So, unlike the PPP, which was a loan that needed to be forgiven, this ERC program is a tax refund, a payroll tax refund that does not need to be paid back. So, once you get the money, it's yours, and there's absolutely no restrictions on how to spend it.
Wow. So
Mm.
the government does not restrict the business on how to use their money. They could use it for operation, they could use it for marketing, or for even for anything else in within the business, right?
Correct. Absolutely
Wow.
correct.
Mm.
And
All
when you
right.
think about what this money is, everybody, this is basically a reward from the government for doing the right thing during the pandemic. And we say the right thing. You kept your people on payroll. You kept your people working. You didn't furlough them. You didn't fire them. You didn't go out of business. You didn't go bankrupt. And you kept the company running. Like everything was so important in keeping the country running.
Wow, wow. I mean, amazing. That's awesome. I mean, and again, that's what we do here in this channel. We love to help businesses to get capital. And what capital is free money too, right? Free money that we could get from the government. Now, let me ask you something. What type of business qualify for this type of reward?
So there's two ways to qualify. You either not need to have a reduction in your revenue during the pandemic and or you need to have a change in your operations. So the revenue test is as follows. You would need to have a 50% reduction in your revenue from 20 compared to 19 or a 20% in your revenue from 21 to 19. So they compare your 20 revenue or your 21 revenue back to 2019. So it's a pretty significant revenue drop in order to pass that first test. Or you need to have a partial suspension of your operations due to government orders. And there were
Mm.
two types of
Mm.
government orders. There were federal orders produced by the OSHA and the CDC, and there were state orders. Each state handled COVID differently. So COVID was different in Florida as it was in New York.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, so that's why a lot of the states were affected completely different. Now, let me ask you something. I mean, that's amazing that now we have a little more understanding on that. Now, a lot of companies or a lot of businesses out there did receive what we call the PPP loan. Now, if they receive the PPP loan, do they qualify for the ERC?
Yeah, that was another major change in the rules and the law is that even if
Mm.
you got PPP, you're also allowed now to try for ERC. The number one thing, though, is you cannot double dip, and that is key. We're seeing a lot of unscrupulous people and firms out there that are not considering the most important rule for the ERC program is you cannot double dip the same time period that you use for PPP forgiveness for the ERC calculations. So what we're seeing, all these phantom numbers on the internet, everyone's promising this $26,000 per person. That's just not happening because most people took PPP. So we're seeing a much more conservative approach where we're getting customers between $8,000 to $10,000 a person, and we're doing it the correct way. There's a lot of firms out there that are not doing this correctly, and they're going to get
All
people in
right.
trouble.
Mm. So,
So,
so Josh, when did this
okay.
program start?
Right around basically March of 2021.
Okay. Got you. So the reason that we ask this is we hear this from a lot of our clients, and our clients are saying, "Hey, my accountant is already working on this for me," right? So there's a huge lapse in time there.
Yeah, that's what I love when people say, "Oh, my CPA is going to do it," or "My CPA is on top of it." This thing's been around for 18 months, and if your advisors were on top of this thing, they should have filed for this thing a long time ago.
Right.
Now let me ask you something because and again we get that a lot. And guys, listen from Josh. This company, I mean, they've been doing and correct me if I'm wrong, Josh. How much have you guys been able to actually get back for a lot of this company? I think it's like $2.5 billion, right? by now, right? Well, I think more.
No, we're up to 3.5 billion.
Look at that. I
Let's
was
go.
wrong. So what I'm saying is a lot of companies, and I'll tell you why I know this personally, because not only we hear from our clients, but a lot of companies do approach us. Hey, you guys do ERC. This is what we do. They charge you up front.
Mm.
Don't let any company charge you up front, because what we do and what we're doing through bottom lines is bottom lines will help you with no commitment. What they do is they go out of battle for you and get this money, and that's when we get paid. That's when they get paid. So keep that in mind, because there's a lot of, like Josh was saying, there's a lot of companies out there that do not know the rules and regulations, the policies that were being changed. And 18 months ago, or this year everything changed, right, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of companies out there that have popped up for this thing. These are men and women that have no employees, no tax experience, and any company that has the name ERC in their name, I mean, obviously it's a new company. You're not going to
Right.
have created a company 10 years ago or 20 years ago with the name
Correct.
ERC in it. So
True.
you're going to want to I mean, like, we're very close with our competitors, and we don't even consider them competitors anymore, because, we know that we're quality firms, and we know there's lots of business for everybody to do it if you're working with a quality firm. So, search out a company, ask them, how many filings have you done? Who are your clients? Who are your customers? How long have you been doing this? Have you done other tax programs in the past? Like, we've done 20,000 filings for $3.5
Wow.
billion, and we're averaging about 1,000 new clients a week. I mean, that's the pace that we're on.
Wow. Wow. So, Josh, I went through some of not only some other podcasts that you've done, some other content, but I had a chance to look at your client list, and it is absolutely impressive. So I'd like for you to share just a few of your top clients with our audience here.
Well, the thing is that the ERC program is private, right? And that's one of the things that people
Oh,
ask us all the time is, unlike PPP, where you could Google right now PPP and you could see which companies filed, the
got it.
ERC program is exactly opposite. Like, it is a private program. There's no published list. And, a lot of people just want to keep it that way.
Mm, gotcha.
Okay. Got it. But I mean, that's amazing. Now,
But I got to tell you,
obviously,
like, guys, like, for example, like, we are
yeah, yeah.
doing a ton of work in the religious sector of our country. Like, we are doing thousands of churches and temples. And that's gone even bigger than that, where we've now partnered up with different archdioceses across the country, where they'll bring
Wow.
us into 10, 20, 30 schools at a time, or 10, 20, 30 churches at a time. And, the religious sector is a great one. And a lot of those churches and dioceses have been very kind to be able to let us use their name and market through them, because they
Wow.
want to help the religious community out there.
Mm,
You know what? And that's amazing, because we actually had a church. And again, this is a church that I go to. The pastor didn't feel too comfortable with actually doing it, because he felt like, okay, that's something that we don't really need, or we don't think he can justify in getting, because of the religion, the faith. And that's what I wanted to ask you. How can a church qualify? Because I know that between churches and do hospitals also qualify for this?
Yeah, so the rules have changed there also. So as the program changed from 2020 to 2021, they now specifically called out colleges and universities and hospitals as being eligible for the program. So if you're a large college, a large university, or a large hospital healthcare system, you should now be eligible based on law changes. In addition to
Mhm.
that, if we look at the religious organizations and we look at the partial suspension of operations, they could not congregate. Like, one of the qualifications on the IRS's website is called lack of group meetings. Now, the definition of religion is to congregate together with religious leaders and family members and friends in a group. So if you couldn't be together, that is a qualification. In addition to that, the lack of group meetings is where you couldn't have events and fundraisers. So if the church is doing galas and dinners and bowling nights and golf outings, and all of those things were canceled during the pandemic, that was a suspension and change of operations also.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. I love to hear this guy talk because he knows the law back and forth. I mean, you just ask him a question and he tells you the specific law of how everything works. Man, this is amazing. Now, I know, and we talked about this just a little while ago about CPAs. A lot of people, and every time that we talk to them, and a lot of our clients talk to them, talk to us and say that their CPA not only said that you don't qualify for this, and I know that I heard you saying this. Do CPAs are on top of this law, or is it someone that's supposed to write a grant? Because I believe this is a grant. Am I correct?
It's a tax refund.
It's
So
a
it's a
tax.
payroll tax refund.
Got
And
it.
the reason that companies are getting so much money is once you qualify, you're getting back wages and potentially health care for your employees. So the definition of the money that you get back is as follows, guys. Once you're qualified, in 2020, you get 50% of the person's salary up to a maximum of $5,000 per person. And in
Wow.
2021, the numbers skyrocketed to 70% of the employee's salary up to a maximum of 7,000 per quarter. So that's the
Wow.
calculation of why companies are getting so much money, because it's based on a percentage of the salary of the person that they paid.
Wow.
So Josh, I have a question for you. Out of there's I don't even know. There's tons of businesses out here in the United States. Do you know approximately how many businesses have actually filed for this?
So the numbers that we're going on is there's over 6 million small businesses in the country. And when I say a small business, I don't mean a sole proprietor, like one man or one
Right.
woman, LLC, that's just themselves. But, real businesses that have W-2 employees, we estimate it to be about 6 million companies. And so that's a massive amount. I mean, think about that. We've done 20,000 out of the 6 million.
Oof.
And I mean, it just
Wow.
shows you how big the opportunity really is. And guys, we've gone well beyond the continental US. So we're doing work in Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the US Virgin Islands. Like, this thing is
Wow.
bigger than just the continental US.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So Josh, I mean, do you know? I know this is just off the cuff. Do you know how many businesses Bottom Line Concepts has helped?
Yeah, so far about 20,000.
20,000. Let's go.
Nice. Now, you know what? We have a question of one of our listeners. They talk about, and what they're asking is they are apprehensive about getting audited just because of getting the ERC. What do you have to say about that, Josh?
Yeah, that's the new rhetoric out there. There's all of a sudden this, scare tactic, like the whole world's going to get audited. But first of
Mhm.
all, our clients are telling the truth, right? Like, we want to work with clients that are truly telling the truth and were affected by COVID, right? And we at Bottom Line do everything in our power to collect all of the data. We're not just relying upon a random client to tell us how many employees they have, or tell us if their employees were 1099 or W-2, or tell us how much PPP. Like, we are requesting the actual documents from the customer. You must give us your payroll records from your payroll company. You must give us your PPP forgiveness applications from the federal government. We're asking for the actual documents. So we're doing our best to make sure that no one is giving us falsified documents or incorrect documents. So as long as you're telling the truth, even if you're audited, I don't see what the issue is, right? Like, if you're a restaurant and your business was decimated where you couldn't dine in the restaurant and you were forced to dine outside in the cold, or you were forced to build new structures outside, or you were forced to go to a delivery model, if you completely changed your business model due to government orders, what's the difference if you get audited? You should be fine.
That's
Mm,
awesome. That's
mm.
awesome, man. Hey, Josh, I know that you're pressed for time, man, and I appreciate it. Now, we are going to put the link in the bottom of how everybody can get started. But before you go, do you have any last words on telling people on why ERC is one of those programs that really only comes once in a while? And how many days, as a matter of fact, I think it's like 800 and change, but how many days are left? And there are days, or is until the money lasts?
Yeah, so here's the end date of the program. So if you're refiling a tax amendment for 2020, you have until April of 2024. And if you're refiling a tax amendment for 2021, you have until April of 2025.
Mm.
So there's lots of time left. And, anyone that's being rushed by salespeople or pressured by salespeople, like, there's time left here, everybody. The only issue, which we are not sure about, is, could the funding end? Could the funding dry up? Could things change? Like, you always run that risk of rules changing and things like that. But in its current form, the official end of the program right now is April of 2025.
Gotcha. So let's say, Josh, that for my business, I wanna move forward with the ERC program with you, right? Do I need to hire anyone to like process tax documents? Like, what do I need to do there?
Yeah, I mean, in order to
Oh, I think we lost you.
I think we lost him. But if I could answer for him, if you guys go in the bottom of this video, there is a link that you guys can go ahead and qualify yourself and schedule an appointment. I'm sorry, we lost them. But guys, that was amazing. That was amazing
Yeah, it really
information.
was good
And you
stuff.
guys hearing from the CEO of the company that is doing, what is it, $3.5 billion right now?
That
They have
guy is.
I mean,
he is. He's making waves.
so I'll tell you what,
industry.
he's making changes, he's helping businesses. And one of the things is, like, I met him, what was it, about 2 weeks ago? We met him. And we actually were able to actually exchange words. And this guy, I'm telling you, this guy knows his stuff, especially about, and that's all he does. He live, breathe laws. And he wants to help businesses. So the funny thing is, like, he started this company back in the recession, back in 2008, 2009 in New York. So the guy's from Long Island. So, and you know what? I kind of got close to him, and I talked to him because we have some commonality. I'm from Long Island too. I live in New York. So, we started talking. We started, and here we go again. He's here. Hold on, guys. Josh, you back?
Yeah, I don't know where I lost you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, we actually were talking about how I met you, pretty much. I was telling that how I met you back in West Palm Beach. But one of the things is you're from New York too, and how your company started. But what we were saying too is, like, you guys are one of the biggest company and the biggest company that is helping businesses today. I know that you guys were focusing with the big businesses to actually get this refunds and get these benefits. But at one point, I know that Joe, which is gentleman that works with you, also start focusing on the smaller business. And why is that you guys want to help so many small businesses? We lost you?
All right, cool.
I think
Well,
we lost you. Sorry, guys.
Listen. Josh gave us his 2 cents on everything. The guy is a guru in the space of helping businesses get the most money back possible. Do we have him back?
Yes, sir.
Ah,
All
there
right.
he is.
All right.
So Carlos, what was your question?
No, man. Why you decide to do this? I mean, bottom lines, I spoke about your company, how I met you, and how I love what you guys are doing. Because we're very passionate over here at Strata Vega Capital in helping businesses to get funding. Now, this is the type of funding that has no repayment. Really, everybody that went through through COVID, that suffered to COVID, because guess what? It was a pandemic that it pretty much hurt a lot of businesses, and unfortunately a lot of businesses were closed down. But those that kept going and helped the economy, we deserve some type of help. And we were fortunate enough that our president was able to put something together. But not only a company like yours, and you took on the mantle and decide to actually go forward and help businesses, because this is something that a lot of businesses deserve, but not a lot of companies know how to do. Why did you decide to do this, by the way?
Our business model for 13, 14 years was really only working with Fortune 1000 companies.
Mm.
And we had a great run over the last, 14 years helping these behemoth corporations. But
Wow.
once we realized that we could help the small business, the less fortunate companies with our experience in working with all of these incredible companies, we could take all of that rich history, all of that experience, and now help the struggling businesses go through COVID. I mean, it's incredible, guys. If you think about the pace that we're on, we are going to deliver 15 freaking $1 billion to small businesses by the time this thing is over. And I will
Amen.
feel incredibly when I'm gone from this earth that, there was a moment in time for 3.5 years where we delivered life-changing money to these people in need. I mean, you've got to see the emails we get, the letters that we get, the praises that we get from men and women who were struggling. They were going to go bankrupt, personal bankruptcy, corporate bankruptcy, and this ERC money really saved them. I mean, the politicians who put ERC together, the men and women in Congress, in the Senate who approved this thing, they should be applauded for putting a program like this in place to help small business. A lot of these bailouts that are out there, people are upset at the bailouts for the big banks and the financial institutions over time. This was a bailout to the men and women who really needed the money at a time where they needed it.
Yeah, man. I
Mm.
mean, this is amazing. I'm happy that you guys are doing this, man, because that's something that we live by, and we want to help a lot of businesses. We were there once, and the way that we came out is by developing credit, developing funding, developing capital. But this type of capital is something that a lot of businesses don't even know they qualify. You'd be surprised how many times we talk to a business owner and they say, is that a scam? What is that? And it's funny to actually go ahead and see the reaction. But when we explain it to them, it's like, really? Is that something that really exists? So, man, I appreciate that you guys have put this together and have put the platform that you guys have done. And not only helping a lot of business because you guys going above and beyond. I mean, any last words, Josh?
This is a not to miss opportunity. And if you're listening on this show today and you own a small business, or you're listening today and your family owns a small business, or you're listening today and your friends own a small business, you must reach out to these people because it would be a shame to miss this opportunity to help your business. And when you think about it, right, we talk to our clients all the time. We say, you just got $1 million. You just got $3 million. What are you going to do with that money? And what they tell us, guys, is they're going to go hire more people. They're going to bonus their employees. They're going to match their
Love it.
401k plans. They're going to give this money back to their employees and their families. And there's an incredible circle that's going on here of positivity and helping people that work for these companies.
That's amazing, man. And you know
Mm.
what?
I
And
love it.
that's one things that we preach over here. Help others, bring value to others, because especially when you are business owners and you're providing jobs, you're providing work for others, you actually developing the economy, but not only you're helping yourself, your bottom line at all. So, hey, any last words, Brock?
No,
You know,
that's it, Josh. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today on this quick podcast, and I hope that we've been able to reach out.
one last
Go ahead.
thought because I
Awesome,
had
man.
someone in my office yesterday.
Go
We
ahead.
work with about 400 or so retired professional athletes. Men that
Mm,
worked that played in the NBA, men that played in the NFL, and some of these guys that work with us, they literally they're in the Hall of Fame. Rest in peace to Franco Harris. Franco Harris was one of the guys that actually worked with us. He passed away yesterday. But
yeah.
Franco and his constituents and his friends and colleagues that are in the Hall of Fame, we have guys that we're paying these guys, 20, 30, $40,000 a month for referring some deals to us. And they tell us that they made more money in a month working with Bottom Line, referring their friends and family than they made early years in
Mm.
playing in the NFL. Like that's how little money they made, early on in professional sports. And what I love about these athletes is they are all about helping their community. So
That's
I'm in Miami, Detroit, Michigan, New York, Los Angeles, like these communities where these professional athletes played, they love the ERC program because they want to help the struggling people and the struggling businesses in the communities where they played.
So, guys, you heard it from Josh. You want to help businesses? You know what? Just become an affiliate. The link is going to be in the bottom of this video. All you need to do is sign up and if you are interested in also becoming a referral partner, you could do that as well. Not only you are going to be able to help the community, but also earn a hefty check a month. Now, hey Josh, before you go, I know you love dogs, right? What type of dog do you have, man?
It's funny when I spoke at West Palm Beach a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago. Now, I had my little son Hunter Cockapoo on stage with me. The guy's
Oh wow.
my service dog, and anybody that knows me, like I'm all about giving back to things, and my most
That's
passion
awesome.
is animals. I love animals, and I believe that all species are created equal. And I don't care if you're a
Yes.
human, a pig, a goat, or a dog. I believe every species should be treated equally, and I give back
That's
to
awesome.
literally 100 animal charities. And my goal
Oh
over the
man.
next 5 years is to open up a bunch of animal sanctuaries.
You know
Oh, I
what,
love
man?
it.
Sign us up for that. We are willing to help too. And I wanted to tell you is because we have our sniper, a dog sniper. Where he at? He was over here just a little while ago, but it's just something that I'm coming. So if you don't know a little more about me, I'm come from a military background, and I used to have service dogs too, working dogs with me. And now the dog that I have right now is being trained for my son specifically because he's autistic, and that's something that I'm also. We have a foundation in which we help kids that are on the spectrum. So I love dogs too. That's one thing that I love. So when I saw yours, I mean, it was well trained.
Which foundation?
So foundation for helping kids with autism.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Um,
So, but again,
can
so
I
the
can I
dog is
can
to
I
be trained.
can I can I pledge $10,000 to it right now?
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you actually doing this. Thank you. You know what, guys? You got to see, this is why Josh is doing so well because he's willing to give back. He's willing to give back not only to the community, but to others. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate that. And yes,
So
man,
it's
thank you
funny,
for
guys.
that.
I guess it's bringing full circle. So my dog that passed away 6 months ago, his name was Brady, and Hunter's my
Mm,
other guy. So I started the Brady Hunter Foundation to help people and animals in need. So I'd love to
amazing.
donate $10,000 from the Brady Hunter Foundation.
Wow.
Amazing, man. Thank you. Thank you. You know
Awesome.
what?
Awesome
You couldn't
stuff.
close this any other way, but I mean, this is amazing. We appreciate that, Josh. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you because you're doing something so great right now to helping businesses to get back on their feet and continue to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Any last words, Brock?
No, that's it, man. I'm just blown away by Josh, man.
Hey, Josh,
Really
thank you
do.
for your time, man. Thank you for being here with us today. And to everybody, you are interested in this. Not only you actually want to take, advantage of what the ERC is, but if you also want to become a referral partner, the links will be in the bottom of this video. Thank you for your time today. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for being
Thanks,
here with
Josh.
us today, and have a
Good night,
great night.
everybody.
All
Take care.
right.